I still remember a very painful day. That was 17th August 1988, when we were to pass out from Puttaparthi, go back to our places. That day Swami called us. He held my hand like this and asked me, what would you give me in return? You got a beautiful education from here. You got Swami from here. What will you give me in return? And I replied, I said, Swami, anything what you say. He said, promise? I said, yes, Swami. And then he says in very strong words, don't bring bad name to Swami. All I want from you in return is, don't bring bad name to me. If you are my students, if you are Sai students, anywhere you go in world, people should recognize you as Sai students. That's all I want from you. On an earlier occasion, Swami asked me, what is your name? When I replied, Swami Amar Vivek, Swami looked at me and said, Hamara Vivek? I really liked it. Swami turned back again to me. If you are good, you are Hamara Vivek. If you are bad, you are Hammer Vivek. That is how Swami plays with our words, our lives, our names, because he loves us. But all of us have to answer this, whether we reciprocate to him the way he wants us to reciprocate. So it so happened that he told me that after you have finished your MBA course, go back and set up law practice in Chandigarh. So I immediately said, no, Swami, I don't want to do law. I will set up a hospital, school, vocational school in a village in your name. He says, no, set up your legal practice. Then I told Swami, no, don't send me to this legal world. Then Swami looked at me and asked, what is the meaning of LLB? And he answered, LLB means live and love Baba. If you live on my words, you love me. If you don't live on my words, how will you love me? So you have two qualifications, LLB and MBA. And you know what is MBA? He said, MBA means mind Baba always. Keep me always in your mind. So go set up your legal practice. This project I will help you to set up. I said, okay, Swami. So I came back to Chandigarh. Probably my age was 24 at that time. I did not know anything about a project to set up a hospital, school, vocational school. I had no idea. But Swami made something happen. I was able to draw a project report. It was named Jagriti. I went to Swami. One day I showed that project report to Swami, which will have a hospital, school, vocational school, free of cost in a village. Swami looked at it. He was flipping through the pages. He took my pen and wrote words Sri Satya Sai Gramin above the word Jagriti. So he named it Sri Satya Sai Gramin Jagriti. He signed it and returned it to me. He says, don't worry, I'll do it for you. I have promised it. And then I asked Swami, because on the front page there was an index where it was mentioned that we require 27 acres land for this project. So I told Swami, I said, Swami, we need 27 acres land. And Swami lovingly looked into my eyes and said, you need my hand. You don't need land. And Swami blessed me. This was probably 5:30 in the evening that day. In the night at 9, I boarded Karnataka Express to come back to Chandigarh. Around me, 2-3 gentlemen were sitting. Suddenly they looked at me and they asked me, sir, today evening you were in Darshan line. We were also there in Puttaparthi. So we started conversing with each other. So they asked me, when I told about this project, sir, we are from Yamunanagar, which is about 110 kilometers from Chandigarh. Why don't you come there? We will give you land. So I, out of my innocence or foolishness, told them that, sir, Yamunanagar is 110 kilometers from Chandigarh. How will I carry out the work there? So they said, sir, just now you said Swami's hand is going to do everything. I said, yes, you are right. So after I reached Chandigarh, next day I went to Yamunanagar. Those gentlemen were there to receive me at the bus station. They took me to one village. We went to that village. It was a beautiful sight. Yamuna river was flowing by its side. We went to the headman, Sarpanch. So I narrated to him that, sir, we will set up a hospital, school, vocational school like this in this place. So he said, okay, sir, don't worry, we have some land, we are ready to donate it to you. So he convened a meeting of the panchayat. All panchayat members, they sat together. So they passed a resolution gifting exactly 27 acres land to us. When they handed over that resolution, I saw two things. One, I saw the name of the village. Other, I saw 27 acre land. Rest also, I did not understand anything else in that, because it was drawn in some technical language in Hindi. So I asked him, I said, sir, this word, Dadwa, the village name, what does it mean? I thought that when I go to Swami, Swami will ask me. So I said, sir, please tell me the name of word Dadwa, meaning of word Dadwa. So this gentleman tells me, sir, Darad means snake holes. This land was full of snake holes. We named it Dadwa. This was the shocking thing for me, to discover that how Swami was already ahead of us. Because we all know word Puttaparthi means land of snake holes in Telugu. And so this coincidence was not only a coincidence for me, but Swami was doing everything. So this is how we were to discover all this. I took that resolution. I quickly reached Puttaparthi. After I reached Puttaparthi, I was sitting in darshan line, holding that piece of resolution in my hand. Swami was walking towards me. I was looking at the resolution. Suddenly, again one monkey mind thought came into my mind. I thought that I should have translated this document into English, so that I could make it, give it to Swami in English. And by that time, Swami reached me and pointed at the date. Look at the date, Swami said. Look at the date. I thought that probably date was only in figures, rest all was in Hindi. So Swami would have seen the date. This is what I thought. So that date was 17 July. So I narrated, Swami, it is 17 July. Do you know what is this? I said, no, Swami. That was Guru Purnima day. I said, oh, yeah, yes, Swami, it was Guru Purnima day. Do you know the significance of Guru Purnima? I said, no, Swami. Guru Purnima means, I take a vow for you. Till this project is complete, sun will not set on it. This is my vow for you. We were to discover all these things because Swami wanted us to learn everything from him. The smallest thing which he used to teach, smallest things which he used to do, we were to learn. I still remember once we were going to Kodaikanal, Swami was with us. We stopped over at a place in Benarghatta forest. So the gentleman, watchman was not there. Swami was waiting for the watchman for a long time. Finally, Swami told us that you look for some table. We went behind, we looked for a table, we brought it. Swami kept food on it, fed us with his own hands. And we were all sitting around Swami. Sometimes later, the watchman walked in. And immediately he was taken aback that, there was a mismatch of time. He had missed these timings when Swami was to arrive. He started feeling apologetic. Swami said, don't worry. Swami loved him a lot. And then he said, Swami, you have to come inside. I was preparing for you for so many days. So Swami walked with all of us inside the guest house. As he was moving, Swami told Brother Radhakrishna to fetch an envelope. Brother Radhakrishna brought an envelope. We all would have missed it, thinking that it is an ordinary thing. Swami handed over that envelope to this watchman. He opened it. There were pictures which Swami had clicked with that watchman and his family previous year. In his previous year's visit to that place, some student must have clicked those pictures. He would have presented those pictures to Swami. Swami would have retained those pictures with him for 1 year. And During this visit, Swami took care to carry those pictures, to bring that joy on the face of this watchman. That shows how simple things, little things, Swami used to tell us to do in perfection. We can all imagine his omnipresence, his omnipotence, but his perfection in little things. This is what Swami used to tell us. Because Swami used to say, when you look at me, you become mine. There is no difference in you and me. And if there is no difference, then we should all be like him. This was very simple way of his telling us that once we have come into his fold under his umbrella, size umbrella, he only expects us to be his. And for that we have to demolish that wall which separates us from him.